And okay, David, you could take it away.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. To the wonderful commercial team at KW, I say hello. I'm always on the run. So I was with Kim actually this morning in Calabasas. I had to get my butt down in Sherman Oaks. Then I had to come down to Westwood, and I'm here right now. Just found a place and make sure we, get going on our commercial meeting. So thank you for everyone getting on the call, wherever you are. Hope you're having a fantastic week so far. I have the pleasure of introducing our first person, and of course we'll introduce the second person, but the first person, Mr. Britt Nelson. I've had the pleasure of knowing him for a couple of years. What's funny is we met at a Zoom, just like this, a Zoom meeting, a commercial Zoom meeting that was put out by one of our KW fellow agents, Mel, who specializes in land. And one day I think I was presenting a couple of properties, and Britt calls and, he says, hey, I came across your presentation. I may have someone for it. And, we were just talking, conversing. And I said, hey, Britt, what else do you do? And he says, on the weekends, I'm a private ski instructor at Vail. I'm like, wait a minute. Now you're talking my language. So as soon as he said that, I said, listen, man, I'm doing 8 to 10 ski trips a year and I'm all over the place. And, we got to definitely get together. So surely, I don't know how many months after, we met in Breckenridge, Colorado for the very first time. And I don't know if Britt remembers, but we had Mexican food. I had my brother.
I do remember.
You remember that one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I had my older son, Landon, and, we met and, we kind of just became friends, not only, try to do business, but also kind of on a friendly side of things. And, ever since that time, and we've met a few times, and whenever I go up there for skiing or, he's coming down here in LA, he has a meeting or something going on, he's meeting a client, we always try to hook up. And that's what this is all about, guys. It's the networking, getting together. It doesn't matter what part of the country, what part of the, the world we're in, but it's the old fashioned way of doing business. So I invited Britt to get on this commercial meeting of ours for people that are working with clients that are really fed up with California, or they have a property that they just sold and they want to maybe exchange and go outside of California. I know a lot of people are going to Colorado, a lot of people going to Arizona, they're going to Florida, they're going to Texas. And Britt, who specializes in the Denver area, he resides there. And without further ado, I'm going to have Britt kind of touch on why it's a benefit to perhaps investing in Denver and, of course, the Colorado market. Britt, please go ahead. Thank you very much for joining us today.
David, thanks for the kind introduction. I greatly appreciate that. And thank you. And good afternoon to everyone. Hope everybody is doing good. As David said, I'm Britt Nelson. I'm with Stucy Commercial Properties here in the Denver market. And what we do is, my partner, Rick Stucy, and I started this company about 10, 12 years ago, just as a small boutique retail tenant rep company. And then it grew from there. And so I find myself in a very unique situation to where I am doing work pretty much all over the western part of the country. And whether it be landlord rep, tenant rep, we do it both. Rick is also a developer, so we can develop different parcels. Rick is also a restaurateur, and so we're heavy in the restaurant business as well. But the Denver market is alive and well, especially on the retail side of things. Office, just like anywhere else, is a little bit sketchy. Industrial is going crazy. It's tough to find good industrial spaces these days in this market, and also Colorado Springs as well, because we work the entire Front Range from Fort Collins south to Colorado Springs. So things I'm working on these days are more on the tenant rep side than they are on the landlord rep. However, if you've got clients that are in need of any type of services out here, whether it's looking for land, buying land, selling land, anything, 1031 exchanges, anything of that nature, we are here to be able to be of help to you and your client as well. So that is just a little bit about who we are, what we are, um, and I just greatly appreciate the opportunity to get on with you guys and gals and see if there's anything that may come up from this.
Maybe we can put your name and your contact info in the chat. Or maybe your partner can. I know you're in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we can have people reach out if they need to connect with you.
Absolutely. I will try to do that here since I'm working off my phone. So apologize, guys.
No problem. Did anyone have any questions about for Britt and the market that he's in Colorado?
Britt, let me ask you the following. If one wants to invest in Denver or in the Colorado area, what were the benefits? If you had to pick out top three things that are important, what would they be, please?
If you wanted to invest, I think one, it's a little bit less expensive than the California market for dang sure. However, for the Colorado market, it's expensive. So, but it's much less than it is out there in California. Second of all is permitting processes for any types of development are much less than they are in California. And the third thing I would say is just the overall environment here in the state of Colorado, and especially in the Front Range, very business friendly. And I think you and your clients will find that this area is definitely a booming area, and a lot of people are coming in this area as well. So population growth, most definitely.
Good to know. Kim, if you want to forward that, you want to put the picture up, and then if nobody has any other questions, I want to come up with something. Obviously, is many on?
He's not on yet.
I love it.
Britt, I was wondering, how have you bounced back in the commercial market from COVID? Do you see a lot of repurposing of buildings, or what does that look like?
Oh, great question. Yes, we are. The renovation of different office buildings is starting to really come to in this market. Not so much in the high rise right now, more in the mid and low rise types of buildings are different types of different adaptive reuses are happening. But some clients are opposing, are not wanting to do that. And so what they're doing is they're just getting their employees back in the office, for one. And then second of all, if they aren't doing that, then they're just selling their asset. But for the most part, the high-rise office buildings are still, it's a fairly high vacancy rate. And I'm having these conversations actually today about how to work those vacant floors, and maybe you turn them into luxury condo and or apartment if it makes sense. And that's a tricky subject. And it's the same thing out there as well, is that you've got to have the proper floor plates and all your HVAC units and where everything else is placed. And so there's a lot of intricacies involved in changing that type of building as well. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes. Thank you. Any other questions? Anyone else? Okay.
Hello.
It looks like maybe Rick Stucy, my partner, may have just joined.
Okay. Let me just find him.
Hello, Rick. Is he on?
I don't see him now.
Okay, no worries.
Hello, I'm here.
Oh, there you
Oh,
are.
there he is.
I'm Rick. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been on the whole time.
Rick, how do you deal with this guy? Tell me that first.
I usually just don't take his call.
That's it. You ignore him, hang up the phone on him, right?
Right, that's the best way.
Yeah, he does that a lot.
I don't blame you, man.
So Rick, I just gave everybody an overview of what we do and how we do it. And David asked, if anybody from California is going to be coming here, what are some of the advantages that we have as opposed to the California market? How would you answer that question?
Well, without getting in too much trouble, I say if you come here from California, don't vote the same way. And then I'd say we're starting to, the bigger cities are very difficult. Difficult to get permission to build anything, and so it's Colorado and the kind of the second tier markets and in the suburbs. Pretty exciting. So much going on, so much growth. My office is in Castle Rock, Colorado, and it is exploding. It's really a high quality of life. It's really hard to describe. It's probably like Colorado or California was years and years ago. My wife is actually from California. And so overall, I think that the market is really hot. Maybe not the hottest one in the country, but there's from a backlog standpoint in construction, we're probably booked out for almost 2 years. And we're building quick serve restaurants and office buildings and a lot of TI. So overall, there's a lot of activity, and probably over the next year or so, you're going to see some pretty good bargains just because of the financial world's backing off, and going to be some people needing loans. And I've been around a long time. I've seen a lot of these cycles, so we're just going into another one. So there'll be opportunities, and it'll be tough on some people.
Okay.
One thing all of us have to actually congratulate these guys. Denver Nuggets won so we gotta say hip hip hooray to the Denver Nuggets. I expect a championship T-shirt, Britt, when I arrive in Denver, man. So
Well, we thank you.
The Lakers 4-0. I don't know. People may want to hang up right now with what I just said, but no, we'll let it go.
No, we thank you for that. And, I didn't want to bring that up because I know it's a touchy subject to a lot, but it's okay.
We always say maybe next year. But guys, I want to say one thing. And I not only Britt and his partner, Rick, when we appreciate their time. Quality of life, I can say, and I go there a lot. I go there about 4 or 5 times minimum a year for skiing, and I just see, just in the wintertime, and I tell you, if my wife would allow, honestly, and I'm just saying it, just forget the business side of it. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful. Nature, beauty, just all around. Being in that area in Denver in the mountains. It's just it's a high. Best skiing, I think, best skiing in the world. Even though I'm involved in Utah in Park City, and I know the people in Utah would hear this and say, "What the hell are you saying?" Even though I have a place there, I would say that Colorado is probably the best skiing in the world. If you're a skier and you ski in Colorado, doesn't matter which mountain, whether it's Breckenridge, Vail, okay, Keystone, and when there is good snow compared to California, it's not, you can't compare. So I can tell you that. I know a lot of people that are involved in Colorado. I know they like the market. They're doing very well, and especially now with what's happening, I think. A lot of people are thinking, again, going out of California, the ones that are, Colorado is definitely a place. I'm doing a deal with a guy that he's insisting, if he closes escrow with the deal that we have right now, okay, he's selling in Sherman Oaks, and he's insisting that he's only going to buy in the following states: Colorado, Utah, Texas, or let's say Tennessee. So that just tells you what's going on. Okay. So the ones that are working with clients or thinking about getting into Colorado, be in touch with, Britt, be in touch with his partner, Rick. And again, guys, we really appreciate your time. And what I want to say, and you, Kim, Manny is not on, or is he on?
I think he might be in the car because.
Okay, no problem. If he's mute, I hope he's hearing this.
Yeah.
So I'll make this very short. For all the athletes, the agents that are athletic and they're the kind of people that, want to get out. I was thinking about us putting a get together, maybe doing what we did 3-4 years ago, doing a whitewater rafting, and I will set that up with Britt. We're talking about it. And in fact, I talked to Hanny from our Arizona KW. And if, Britt doesn't mind, talk about it, and perhaps we'll do something where all the agents that are interested and want to join, probably one of the best places to do whitewater rafting, it would be in Colorado. But we're going to investigate and we'll get back to anyone that's interested, perhaps end of July, beginning of August, if that's okay with Britt. So,
No, that sounds good, guys.
yep. And again, guys, thank you very much for your time and for all your keynotes. And I'm sure, our team will definitely be in touch with you.
That sounds good. Appreciate the time, gang.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Britt.
All
Thank
right.
you, Rick.
You bet.
Okay.
Go to our next presenter.
We have
is-
Justin with us.
Justin is with us. I'll get to him in just a minute. Is Haley Cohen on the line?
She wasn't able to make it today. She'll be on our next meeting.
Okay, Kim, do you want to just do a quick shout out about Haley? Because I know a lot of people don't know about her. And I had a pleasure of not only you guys, you and Manny and Haley, you guys were one of the sponsors at the City of Hope that we had back in April. And I appreciate you doing that. But she is a wonderful escrow officer. And I just found out today that she does bulk sale. You can do business opportunities as well. Is it only in California, Kim, or she can handle outside of California? Do you know?
I'm not sure, but I'll put her info in the chat so that people can reach out if they need to. And then she will be on our meeting next week, so she can speak to that.
Fantastic. All right, without further ado, and he's wearing, the shirt with the logo. We love it. We appreciate him getting on, Mr. Justin Myers from First Bank. And let me kind of start by saying the following on how I met Justin. Approximately about a month and a half to 2 months ago, one of my team members said, Pasha, I don't know, is Pasha on the line? If he's not, he said, look, I do a lot of business, and my family does business with First Bank. I want you to, give a call to the person I know at the bank. And I said, sure, absolutely. And one led to another. And I met Justin, who is one of the nicest and one of the great guys works at First Bank, because we were in need of a commercial loan on a property out here in San Fernando Valley. And I can tell you that, the things that stand out for me, and I'm going to say what stands out for me, what's important when I do business with people, that they're, number one, they are accessible. Number two, they're sincere. Number three, when they can't do what you're looking for, they will tell you. They don't beat behind the bush and tell you what you want to hear. And Justin is really a perfect example of that. And I look forward to working with him, and I look forward to working with the bank. And even though I'm not doing business with him, I have referred him to a few people because just the way he has come across. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Justin Myers from First Bank. Justin, please. You got the floor, sir.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me, everybody. I really appreciate you guys being on the Zoom call. Kim, thanks for setting this up. David, as you guys all know, he is a tremendously hard worker and great at what he does. We do have some mutual contacts in common, and they speak extremely highly of him. As a matter of fact, I was told he is the hardest worker in the game, period. And I think you guys can all probably go ahead and second that. So yeah, it's been tremendous working with you. So I really appreciate that. Kim, is there any way I can go ahead and share my screen by any chance?
Yep, you can go ahead now.
All right.
Justin, thank you very much for the kind words, but go ahead.
Of course, of course. So it should be sharing right now. I hope you guys are seeing my PowerPoint.
Yep, we can see it.
Fantastic. Okay, so my name is Justin Myers. I'm the Vice President of Commercial Finance Lending and Business Lending at First Bank. I'm located in Southern California, specifically the Los Angeles area. More specifically, West Los Angeles is actually where my home office is. But I typically will work out of our Beverly Hills office off of Wilshire and Robertson. So feel free to go ahead and jot down my contact information, shoot me any emails, text messages, phone calls. As David had mentioned, I'm extremely accessible. Despite the fact that I have 2 small children, I take calls on the weekends and evenings as well. So First Bank, who we are and what do we do? Well, First Bank is not your typical bank. We are a privately held, family-owned institution established a little more than 100 years ago. So we have a large footprint out here in Southern California, as well as a very large footprint in Missouri and a even smaller footprint in Illinois. The hot topic amongst banks in the last 3 to 4 months, especially since Silicon Valley Bank went down, has been how safe is the bank? Are my deposits secure? Or is the lending that this bank doing? Is it appropriate for their size? I am happy to say that we are amongst the leaders in Tier 1 capital ratios, essentially kind of defining us as an extremely safe bank. We have 6.4 billion in assets and 5.9 billion in deposits. So we're definitely not your JP Morgan Chase or your Wells Fargo. But I think that works to our advantage because we're able to go ahead and do things that don't fit in the box per se. There are often times we're able to make a lot of exceptions because of our size and work within a gray area. I'll be going over a couple of options in terms of commercial financing, as well as things that can be done to kind of replenish those reserves once the borrower has made that purchase in terms of financing beyond that. So first things first, in terms of commercial financing, we have our conventional program. That is for owner occupied and investor properties. You can go ahead and use it for purchase or refinance. As you can see on there, we're doing industrial, office, and retail. Yes, I did not misspeak. We are doing office. As I mentioned earlier, we're doing things that a lot of other banks don't. It has to be the right fit, but yes, we're still in the space to go ahead and work with office financing. In terms of what those programs look like, we're looking at 25% down for owner occupied, so that's 75% LTV. In terms of investor, we're looking for 30% down, so 70% LTV on that. As far as the terms, we can be pretty flexible, 3, 5, or 7 year, 3, 5, 7, and 10-year terms, depending on what works best for the borrower. Typically, it's always going to come down to the rate. All of that is amortized over a 25-year period. So of course, these need to go ahead and be refinanced because you're going to have that balloon payment at the end of the term. What do those rates look like? Well, on the 3, 5, 7, and 10, we're going to go ahead and take the treasury, the T-bill for those specific years, and we're going to add our margin to it. For instance, right now, the 7-year treasury, I believe, is hovering around 4%. You add our margin, it could be anywhere from 2.5 to up to 4%. So it could be in about 6.5% all the way up to 7.75 or so. And then as far as the underwriting requirements, we are pretty strict at this point right now, sticking to a debt service ratio of 1.25. What does that mean? So essentially the cost of the mortgage has to go ahead and equal, or the cash flow of the property or the cash flow of the business has to equal 1.25 times the actual mortgage cost. In the past, we've been pretty flexible around that. We've made a lot of exceptions specifically for owner occupied, where it's been dollar for dollar, or even on the investor side where we've had it at the DSR of 1.15. Unfortunately, in today's climate, underwriting is looking to go ahead and kind of tighten that belt, and we are sticking to that 1.25 DSR requirement. The next option that we have in terms of commercial real estate financing is going through the SBA. The 504A program is what we work with. This is specifically only for owner-occupied purchases. The nice thing about this for the borrower is that they only have to come in with 10% down. So you're looking at a 90% LTV on that. You can be used to go ahead and purchase property, purchase financing for construction of a commercial property or even refinance. Now, there are certain conditions that apply. If you have questions around that, feel free to go ahead and give me a call or shoot me an email, kind of get into the nitty gritty of how that all works. In this case, you're looking at a 10, 20, or 25-year terms amortized over 25 years. Now, in terms of the 504A program, it's essentially two loans because the bank will be doing one portion of the loan, and then you will have the SBA doing the other portion of the loan. So the rates as far as the bank side are going to be tied to the Treasury again, with that spread, like I said, anywhere from 2.5 to 3.75 or 4%, depending on the dollar amount. And then the SBA portion of the loan, they actually publish their rates on a monthly basis. They're pretty competitive. I want to say it's probably in mid sixes right now. The way that it all works, though, is once the bank gets their loan approved, they actually fund the entire amount for purchase for the borrower. And then once the borrower actually takes possession or is fully functional in that property, then at that point, the SBA puts their loan in place. So in that time frame between the closing of the actual escrow and the time frame of the SBA putting their loan in place, the bank actually does a bridge loan or a line of credit that kind of covers that. So it is key to make sure that the borrower is in there and functional as soon as possible, because otherwise they're just paying interest only on a bridge loan essentially that was done to go ahead and kind of consummate that loan. The caveat to this, aside from our underwriting, is it must be approved by the SBA. Even if the numbers and everything work out for us on the bank side, we have to go ahead and get approval through the SBA. I've had pretty good luck. A couple of my larger loans this year have actually been through the 504A program. A couple of them were actually for restaurant expansion. Typically, if you know anything about bank financing, restaurants are typically not things that we want to go ahead and finance. However, like I mentioned before, we're a smaller bank. We kind of do things that are outside of the box. Those specific instances that I was mentioning right now had extremely strong cash flow. We were able to write a very strong subjective analysis for the buyer. And then on top of that, the SBA approved the deal. And so that kind of was the cherry on top and allowed us to go ahead and get it done. Now, after the borrower makes their purchases, oftentimes they're looking to go ahead and improve the property. They're looking to replenish essentially their reserves. And there's a couple options that we have. The first option being a revolving line of credit. The first key on here is that this is meant for short-term financing. And the reason why it's meant for short-term financing is because the interest rate is typically going to be much higher than most term loans or any other financing that's going to be provided to the borrower. The nice thing about short-term financing is anything that's under $100,000, say they need to make some small improvements to the property and they just want to go ahead and use that small dollar amount. For us, it only requires an application, essentially no documentation required. Aside from that, anything above $100,000, we're going to go ahead and ask for full docs. And then anything above $250,000, we're going to ask for 3 years returns, the P&Ls, and everything else under the sun, along with their firstborn. As I mentioned earlier, the rates on these are a little expensive. You're looking at Wall Street Journal Prime, which is currently right now 8.25, plus a spread. That spread can be anywhere from 0.5 point to 1.5. But also it does allow for some flexibility for the borrower because the payments on these are interest only. So they can pay as little as they want, or they can pay towards the principal if need be. Another option that we have to go ahead and do some improvements post-purchase or replenish some reserves for clients happen to be term loans. And these are typically what I end up doing for clients that have the equity available still in the property. They need to make some improvements post-purchase. So we're able to go ahead and do a term loan, essentially a second behind that piece of collateral, amortized up to 5 years. Depending on the dollar amount, if it's more than $250,000, we're actually able to go ahead and get a great rate that's actually tied to the Treasury plus a small margin versus using the prime rate. So that kind of covers everything in terms of lending for me. Are there any questions, or if you want to go ahead and shoot me an email or shoot me a text or a call, feel free. Again, I truly appreciate everybody's time.
Justin, let me ask you this. So first of all, thank you again for all the good information in your presentation. Fantastic. What states do you guys lend on? That's the first question. The second question is, you touched on like we do office, where a lot of people shy away from office today. Other than office, what makes you different than some of the other institutions, some of the other banks? Is it the timing? Is it the product type? What is it that puts you kind of apart? So two questions. First, what states do you guys lend on? And second, what puts, kind of puts you apart from, makes you different than other banks?
Great questions. Thank you, David. Where we lend, it's wherever we have a footprint, essentially. So that would be Missouri, Illinois, California. Majority of our offices are actually in California. That is where I do 100% of my business. Anytime that somebody comes across with an opportunity that would be outside of our footprint, I have a lot of resources to go ahead and share with that person so they can go ahead and get the funding elsewhere if need be. And then as far as what makes us different, I think it's our size. We are a smaller bank, so my access to, say, a chief credit officer or even the chairman of the board is pretty direct. For instance, as I mentioned earlier, we got those couple of deals done for restaurant expansion through the SBA. I was able to go ahead and contact the chairman of the board to kind of sign off on these deals where the chief credit officer was having some hesitations. So because of our size, there's not as much bureaucracy or red tape to get to the people that can really make those decisions that are going to be outside of the box. So I think those really play some key factors. Aside from that, everybody on my team is rather tenured. So we know what we can do, we know what we can't do. And as you kind of touched on earlier, if I can't do something that you're requesting, I'm going to be able to let you know essentially right away. I'm not going to go ahead and waste your time. Nobody on my team is going to waste your time. Nobody makes friends that way. Nobody does business that way, or at least good business that way. So I would say that's another key factor to our success at First Bank.
That's exactly why I like this guy. He's straight, right to the point. And you know what, if he can't do it, he says, look, I'm here. If it doesn't work with that other lender, you can always come back to me. Timing, Justin, what kind of timing are we looking at from the time you start with a borrower, from the time they give you all their, information, the typical, your application and tax returns and all that? How long does it take to get approval, and how long to close of escrow?
Good question. That really does come down to the borrower, the actual deal itself, right? You may have a deal where there's certain caveats to the escrow where closing may be much further down the road. But I would say typically most real estate deals 6 to 8 weeks. But we'll have an answer. We'll know within the first 2 weeks of collecting the package whether it's something that we can kind of move on or not. Also, obviously, there's a lot of factors that come in play, the environmental and the appraisal being two huge ones, right? So we try and get all that stuff squared away within the first 4 weeks, so you can have a clear picture of it's something that we can move forward on. But typically, like I said, for real estate, 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay, very nice. Anybody else having any questions?
Justin, I see in the chats, some are asking for your presentation. Would you be able to email that to me afterwards and I can blast it out to the group?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
And guys, I will say this, and of course, I know we're waiting for Katarina to get back to me with a concrete date, if I may, Justin. So First Bank, who is it, the higher up that they're involved in the winery?
So the family, the family that owns the bank, they're the Deerbergs. If you're from the Midwest or specifically from Missouri, you would probably know the name Deerbergs. They own a slew of grocery stores called Deerberg. But they also have a winery in the San Ynez Valley. It's funny, actually. They're a great family. You talk to them about banking and they'll smile. If you talk to them about their winery, their faces just light up. I mean, that's, they love their banking, but their winery and their wine is truly their passion, I believe, at this point. So yes.
Britt, sorry, my man. We kick your butt on that end. California wins, man. Colorado, I don't know. You're
You're
fired in
right.
that department. So I think what we will do, so let me tell you what we're gonna do here. And I know you guys are laughing. I don't know for the ones that know, I'm the chairman of, the chair of the Greater LA Realtors. I don't even know how I got involved, but I got involved. So they have me set up all these events and get-togethers. We did a hockey game. We did another event at restaurant Noah, where we had an attorney, Ara Sahilian, talk about ADA. And Justin, if you remember last week, I mentioned right at that backyard from where we sat down, that's where we had the presentation. So I asked Justin, because that they're in, their involvement in the winery. And of course, if I get the blessing from our, higher up at the Greater LA, I like to set up a date. We probably are thinking in September that we'll do an event where, the commercial guys that, the first 60 people that sign up, we will pick everybody up in the morning time. We will do a bus trip, okay, down to this beautiful winery that First Bank is involved in, or Dearden family. We'll do a lunch. We'll have two speakers. We'll do possibly tour of the winery, a little bit of networking, high-fiving, having agents, network, get to know each other, do some, hopefully get to know each other and do business, and then bus trip back to LA. This is going to take place most likely in September, and I'm waiting for one of the people at First Bank to get back to me. Justin, we're still waiting, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, you know what? I'll check in with Katerina today to see if there's been any movement. I believe they had mentioned the 6th or the 7th of September, but
That's right. That's right.
I'll see what I can go ahead and find out today.
So once we finalize that, I will definitely, the people that are getting my emails, we'll post it. The first 60 people that obviously sign up, we will have that being our next event. And then, of course, before that, hopefully we can do something with Mr. Britt Nelson. We'll do whitewater rafting. And who knows, we'll have some wine in there too. So, Justin, thank you very
we'll
much.
definitely make sure
Yes.
that it's California wine as well.
Again, Manny, are you listening, man? You gotta, I'm hoping you approve this stuff. But guys, this business, I gotta say this, whether you're a banker, you're a real estate agent, whatever facet, whatever business you're in, we work hard, we play hard. But I think we need more of this. We need more of the social gathering, the get together, the networking, the face-to-face, the old-fashioned way. And I've always said that, and I will continue saying it. And that's the way I do business. And I hope you guys all agree. We got to do more of that old-fashioned way. So by doing these events, doing the get-together, doing this, I hope I can do more business with Justin. I could do more business with Britt. That's what it's all about. So, Justin, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate, the beautiful presentation. Please give my regards to Jennifer, to Katerina, the whole team over there. And again, I look forward to working with you, if not on this deal, on the future deals. I will suggest, if it's okay with Kim and Manny, if we have any new listings, anyone that wants to present a new listing that they just got, or they had maybe a price reduction, or they have a buyer need, to please speak up. Love to hear about them. Anyone out there with a new listing?
Yes,
Or a
I
buyer
would love to.
need?
I would.
Hey, Debbie, how are you?
Good, David. How are you?
What's happening? Where were you this morning? I thought you're gonna be at the get together we had in Calabasas.
I know. I'm sorry I missed out.
Well, next time.
Hope to see you guys soon.
Hopefully, go ahead, Debbie.
Yes. So I have a listing on Vernon. It's in Southeast LA, development deal. Comes with RTI for 13 units plus a rec room, Section 8. We just reduced the price total of 200K down to 1,100,000. It's actually a really good project if you have a buyer for it. It's not a bad one. And I do have an off market as well that I just got. Does not come with RTI. However, city has indicated by right, you can build 48 units, do senior housing, or build 12 ADUs. So that's available as well, if anybody is interested.
How big is that site?
So it's 2 lots side by side, and it's 11,200 square feet.
All right, and what's the price on that?
You know, it's negotiable. 2.6 is what they're asking.
Okay,
Yeah,
very nice.
yeah. Let me know.
Debbie, did you
All
put
right.
those in our WhatsApp group?
I believe I did. I'm gonna
Okay.
put it again. I'm gonna do it again right now. I'll
Okay,
put both of them just in case.
yeah, that's good. And then people can take a look for it.
I will. Thanks, Kim.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to shout out or share?
Anybody else?
And David, thank you for coming out today all the way to the valley and participate. We had an area meeting. It was mostly catered to the residential side. Our valley agents, we had a meeting in Calabasas over there for breakfast. So thank you for coming all the way out there and bringing one of the team member, John, and participating and adding value. Means a lot.
Our pleasure. For you, many, you know, anything for this this young man over here who all of a sudden just shows up. He's got all the buildings behind him. You know, it's always, you know, he looks like a model, right? Come on, guys. Tell
Following your
me.
footsteps, following your footsteps, Mr.
Come
Yashar.
on, man.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Manny, for really, you know, putting these events together, allowing us to do this, because really, without you, these wouldn't be done. And we were talking about it this morning. It's extremely important that, you know, who kind of leads this team and this office. You know, you have people that say, hey, I'm only available between 9 to 5. I'm going to use this as an example. I'll make this very short. So I was in Remax, okay? And I will not give the name, but I remember vividly when I needed his help, and it was, I think, 8 o'clock at night. He says, you know what? I can't talk to you. Call me tomorrow. And it was somewhat urgent. And here I am, I mean, with many, I mean, put my traveling aside, I call him at odd hours, whether I'm here, there, and I share all the pictures so he knows where I'm at, you know, how many hours I'm ahead or behind. But this man, this young man right here, he's always been kind, always accommodating. And not only I am saying it, I know a lot of the guys that are part of this team agree with what I say. He's always, you know, behind every agent, always supportive, always helpful, accessible, and that's what it's all about. So we really appreciate you, Manny. We thank you for being there for all of us, especially me. And I know I'm a pain in the ass from time to time, but I thank you, man.
Never.
And by
never
the way,
change.
in Israel, anybody I need to kick their ass, you tell me who I, you know what, I got the navigation. I'm driving, got a car. I'll go and I'll attack. I got my Taekwondo down just for you, man.
For
So
sure,
there you
black
go.
belt with the two stripes, David Yashar.
There you go.
But,
Green
hey,
belt right now.
It takes a village, David. It takes a village. And Kim, you will have to edit the minor casting from the video, so YouTube won't take down the video again. Thanks, David.
I just wanted
Spice
to,
it up.
for anyone that is still in this you know, meeting, I just wanted to go over maybe 3 properties that, if it's okay, is it all right to present? Do we still have time? So guys, we have about 11 properties out there, but I really want to touch on 3 of them that I think it's important, not because we've had a price reduction, a huge price reduction, but a good cap rate. I'll start with a single tenant, what we call a coupon clipper. It's a Dollar General corporate lease. The tenant, you know, of course, have many locations. We just listed this property approximately three and a half weeks ago, close to a month ago. We're just under a 7 cap. Dollar General. It's in Brantley, Alabama. It is not for everyone. Anyone that's looking just to get a check every month. Okay, we call again a coupon clipper passive investment, priced at only $950,000. Anyone that's looking, anyone that's in an exchange, you know, about $1 million plus or minus, or below $1 million, We will deliver this at about a 7 cap, maybe just north of a 7 cap. I promise you, if you go do a Dollar General search, there's a lot of them out there. You will not see this high of a cap rate. So if you have anyone for that, please call me, or text me or call on me, Eric, and in our team. We're glad to answer any questions, send you a package, pictures, the whole 9 yards. The next opportunity, due to health, this owner, this seller, and this is co-listed with Mr. Sam from our group, Sam Ali Shahi. I don't know if he's on this meeting or not, but we have listed a single tenant restaurant. It's a lease investment. The tenant is a sushi restaurant. This is one of their 12 locations out here in LA area. This location that we have on the market is at 139 Citrus in Covina. It's kind of the downtown where you have the pedestrian and, where you got a lot of, foot traffic in the evening, city parking lot in the back. It's a 2-story sushi restaurant. So we have the ground floor tables and, the sushi bar, the second floor karaoke bar. This tenant has been here since 90s. And their lease actually runs out at end of July. Okay, listen carefully. They're paying only approximately $1.07 a square foot. The market calls for somewhere between, I would say, $2.50 to $3 a square foot. The owner just reduced the price from a 1,695 down to 1,575 this past Friday. Again, we are looking, when we take listings, we are looking at motivation, okay, and the seriousness about selling a property. And this is one of those sellers that will sell the property. If you have anyone looking for a single tenant with the added value to take it from $1 a square foot and raise the rent to possibly $2.50, $3 a square foot, this is the deal. Again, price in $1,575,000, single tenant sushi restaurant in Covina. Last but not least, if you have any auto repair, body shop, people call you from time to time. We have one in City of Huntington Park. The building is about 1,250 square feet, sits on about 16,000 square feet of land. It's located at 6811 Santa Fe Avenue in heart and soul of Huntington Park. The tenant has, actually, they are on a month-to-month. They've been there a long time. Again, the rent is, tad below market. This is perfect for a user to come in, maybe take over the business, or they come in and negotiate with the existing tenant, or look at a potential development on the 16,000 square foot site. This is 6811 Santa Fe Avenue, Huntington Park. We're priced at $1,650,000, and there's flexibility. And the reason for the sale, the seller has a loan that's due. Instead of refinancing, they decided that they're going to sell. Please text me, call me. I'll be glad to forward you the marketing package, the video, any questions you may have. I'm here to help you in any which way, put a deal together. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Justin.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I thought you wanted to say something.
Oh, no, sorry.
All good, all good. Anything else that anybody else that want to share something you guys have, needs, exchanges on the call? And in case that you guys didn't mention it, not sure, I missed a small portion from the Zoom. Shout out to our Long Beach Coastal Commercial team with Denise Manugian, Richard Sperling, and Crystal, who sold a 8.7 industrial that just closed a couple of weeks ago in the city of Long Beach, North Long Beach, a industrial property for the food bank of LA. The food bank, it was a grant that they got from the state, and all cash deal. It was a bit complicated because of the condition of the property, etc. But they did an amazing job. So shout out to them, Crystal, Richard, Denise. So keep it up. Anybody else? Anything else you guys want to mention? Okay, all right. Good to see everybody. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you in the next session.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.